absolutely restrictive as being 800 pounds, having no mobility, not fitting behind the steering wheel of a car, or just walk into the letterbox and back just to collect the mail, things like that. That is restrictive.
Hello, everyone, and welcome back to my channel. I'm Rochelle, the real life carnivore. I am a carnivore, a wife, a mother of a beautiful little baby boy, and I'm really excited to share this wonderful testimony from this wonderful guest. If you have not had the chance to meet her yet, she is incredible. Her story is unbelievable. It will leave you so struck. I still like, even when I hear her story nowadays, when I hear her share in our community, it just strikes a chord in me because her story is giving so many people hope. Her name is Lindy. She is a carnivore mom of two beautiful girls. She is a wife. She lives somewhere down under, and I'm
Yeah.
really excited to have her here today. So please join me in welcoming Lindy to the show. Welcome to the show, Lindy. How is your day going
Hi.
so far?
Yeah, good. It's early morning here. So, yeah, pretty cool, but looking forward to summer coming along. So, yeah.
Very good. Well, I would love it if you would start by sharing your story. Why did you go carnivore?
I went carnivore because I pretty much hit rock bottom. I was around plus or minus 800 pounds back in on my birthday, July 2021. And I just decided I'd had enough. I was ready to had one foot in the grave, decided it was time to change my ways. And yeah, I'd been on keto for a little while, about 6 months, and I was struggling with that. And then I came across Dr. Berry's videos and saw this crazy man saying, just eat meat, you change your life and get your life back and lose a lot of weight. And it was so, you know, magnificent. And I just thought, what a crazy guy, just eat meat. And honestly, I did start carnivore for the wrong reasons because I was slowly killing myself at 800 plus pounds. Um, I didn't have much mobility. I was just depressed. I had given up. I had lap band surgery when I was 27 years old, failed that, failed every diet under the sun, and just thought, well, you know, you hear the voices saying, if you eat meat, it's you're gonna die of a heart attack or get colon cancer or something like that. And I thought, well, this is a good way to just end it quickly. So that's why I started carnivore, because I didn't have any faith that this would work. It was just going to be another failed diet attempt because I had just pretty much given up on myself, and I didn't want to be a burden on my family anymore. And I just didn't know how to get out of that rut that I was in. So started carnival, started feeling better. And yeah, just over time, over the months, my inflammation markers were going down. I was able to walk a little bit easier, less pain. And it took a while, but it happened. Started to get my life back. And it was just crazy. And I did struggle a little bit to keep, on track because my family's not carnivore. And this is something that I was doing for myself to try and, you know, once I started feeling the benefits, I wanted to fix myself, see how far I could take this. But I did struggle. So I signed up with Steak and Butter Gang, reached out for some coaching with Coach Emily and Coach Raymond, and they helped me just keep me on track and just find my feet. I had to realize that this is my journey. I can't moderate. I have to abstain from all those things which other people find very easy. They can easily moderate and have a balanced diet and all this kind of stuff. To me, that didn't work. I didn't have an off switch. It was just constantly that thought of food, the cravings was just so intense. And then I'd just given up with life. And that was my coping mechanism when I was it was like a comfort eating thing. I was always depressed. I was always trying to fill that void, that hole inside me, and food was that thing, and it would make me feel good while I was eating. As soon as it was finished, I was back to square one, and it was just that constant spiral and bad habits that I'd got myself into, and that's something I've had all my life, and it was just a very hard habit to break. So, Coach Emily and Coach Raymond will help me to work through those, those behaviors, change the behaviors, kept me focused. Having weekly meetings, I didn't want to disappoint them. So it kept me on track because I don't, I wanted to eat the meat and I wanted to progress my journey. And I was really scared because Friday was my meeting day. I don't want to say, oh, I failed, I cheated or whatever. I was really scared. So that accountability kept me on track as well. And just, yeah, it just felt amazing. So I've been carnivore 2.5 years now, and I'm down to, I think it's around 260 pounds. So we work in kilos here. So yeah, just doing the conversions. So I'm still got a long way to go, but I'm going to get there. But there's no hurry anymore. Um, I've got lipedema, I've got lymphedema, I had type 2 diabetes, migraines every other week, thyroid issues, just depression, anxiety, and pretty much all of that is either gone or my symptoms have improved. Obviously, lipedema or lymphedema is something I'm going to live with forever, but my symptoms are so mild now and they're manageable. And my legs are just feeling so much better. I'm so much lighter on my feet. I'm getting my mobility back just by eating meat. Haven't exercised much because at that weight, you're in so much pain and you can't exercise. Everything hurts. It's been very difficult. But now I'm feeling so much better. I'm starting to exercise and I'm wanting to move more and exercise. I'm getting out a little bit more and um, yeah, just enjoying living my life again. So that's pretty much it in a nutshell. More than too long.
Oh gosh, your story is just so incredible. I like most people when they come to carnivore, like you mentioned, you felt you kind of came to it for the wrong reasons. Most people come to carnivore because they're looking for weight loss, but they don't realize that with obesity and with having, lived a life of obesity, there are often other things that are going on in your body. It's not just one day you woke up and you were obese. It's like there was a what do you call it? A roller coaster kind of thing. Like, there was a cascade effect that was happening. You mentioned
Yeah.
thyroid issues, you mentioned depression, you mentioned emotional issues too, like just trying to eat for comfort and things like that. And I think a lot of people kind of get distracted by food. Most people don't understand what food addiction is or that they're even addicted to food, but I think that that plays a significant role in it. And I wanted to ask you, Lindy, um, were you housebound at that point?
Yeah, for about 6 years, I was housebound. Yeah. I was driving going into work and it got too hard. It got to the point where, like, I had to recline the seat all the way back so I could actually fit behind the steering wheel. Couldn't put my seatbelt on. So I was literally holding onto the steering wheel, driving to work. And I had to park near the door so I could literally walk into the building. And then I sat all day. I was doing data entry and stuff. So it was a really sedentary job anyway, which was really good. Then one day we had a meeting, which happened to be in the building next door, up a flight of stairs. And the whole team had to walk up to the next building, up the stairs. We got up there. I was hyperventilating. I was like a red beetroot and everyone's like, "Are you okay, Lindy?" And yeah, like I couldn't breathe. I was so out of breath from climbing this little flight of stairs. It wasn't far, but for me, it was a huge deal. I was so embarrassed. And that day I went home and I never went back to work. because I was so embarrassed. I just rang up and said, "I'm so sorry, but I'm not well." And then they kept ringing me saying, "When are you coming back, Lindy? We miss you." And I'm like, "I'm not coming back. I don't know when. I'll ring you when I'm ready." And then I just never went back. That was it. And that's when I, yeah, pretty much became housebound. I just didn't want to be out in public anymore. So yeah.
Wow. Have you revisited that set of stairs since losing all of this weight?
No, I never went no back there. But I do climb stairs now, and I don't have to go one at a time. I can walk up the stairs normally now. So, yeah, it's obviously a lot better for me now. But this was, going back, what, 12 years ago that I was there. Um, so yeah, no, just enough. I just couldn't do it. And I'm still not confident. I like going out. Um, Going to places that are new, I still have that confidence thing. I think people are looking at me, staring at me, judging me. So I feel very uncomfortable going out in public. I really have to push myself. So it's like, it's not about just losing the weight. There's so many other obstacles now that I have to face. Is getting out back into the real world and just finding my feet and feeling like I belong in this world again, because I'm very comfortable at home. The four walls of my house. It's been a prison for me for so long, but it's been comfortable. And to leave my front door, it takes a lot for me to get out. So
Yeah, so it's not even just reclaiming, like you said, finding your feet again, but it's also reclaiming confidence,
yeah,
recognizing that, like other people are not just looking at you thinking like, oh, whatever, I'm going to judge her story. Like sometimes people look at you because they recognize you. And sometimes
yeah.
people look at you because they're like, what is she doing that's different? But our brain automatically wants to go to like, oh no, they're judging me. Like they're going to be jerks and they're going to make these assumptions. And I think that's the hardest part to get over is people's criticisms. And
Hmm.
I can I can attest to this as well. Like people always have an opinion about something,
Yeah.
and most of the time they want to share it with you, even though you don't want to hear it. But I think you are absolutely amazing. And I think you're so beautiful. And your story, like I said, is incredible. I had the pleasure of meeting you at KetoCon in Austin this year, and I was blown away. I'm like, how was this woman ever 800 pounds? How were you ever 800 pounds? Like, you move like you glide when you walk. I'm like, "Shit." Like, so
No, I feel it.
yeah. And I just want to encourage you around that because like I haven't known you for your whole journey like Raymond and Emily have, but I've known you for, since you've joined the Steak and Butter Gang, and it's been so cool watching things change for you. Something that
Mm.
you touched on that I wanted to ask you about, you mentioned you are not able to moderate things, that you have to abstain. What is the difference between abstaining and moderating?
Oh goodness. Well, abstaining, I don't have it because if I have it once, like it's just like someone will offer you a biscuit. Just have one biscuit, it's not going to hurt you. Well, I can't stop at one. I have to keep going. And that's the difference. I have to say no to that one biscuit because I'll just want to eat the whole packet. Or, yeah, ice cream. You have a little bit of ice cream. No, I want the whole tub. If it's there, I'm constantly thinking about it until it's gone. And it's an off switch that I have never had. I think a lot of people are born with this off switch. I obviously miss that gene. And it's just something that I've had for all of my life. So since being carnivore, obviously at the start it's hard. Like I still didn't have that off switch when I started, but you just eat meat. And this is where priming, which is SBG gang, taught me to do, is you do that priming. When you're hungry, you eat meat. Like you just nothing else, just meat. And eventually that switch kind of turns off over time, and then you just don't start craving anything. But if you sit down and you start craving and you don't want to eat meat, am I really hungry? Like meat, you would eat it if you're hungry. Sometimes I'm just bored and I don't realize. So I have to think, okay, well, if I can't, if I'm not, don't want that piece of steak doesn't look appetizing, I want ice cream. Well, I'm not eating ice cream because it's, I'm hungry. I'm eating because I'm bored. I'm sitting in front of the TV with my husband, and that's the big thing. Every night we sit down and, oh, let's order a snack. It's a habit. So I need to break that habit. So I've had to, if I can't sit down and eat a steak, then I'm not hungry. I need to keep my mind busy, my hands busy. I go for a walk. I pull out my iPad and I do my little paint by number on my iPad, brush my teeth, ring a friend, and just distract myself for, 15, 20 minutes. That craving goes away. If I'm still hungry, then I'll eat the steak or eat some bacon or eat something carnivore, but that's the only way I can keep accountable and make this sustainable and get rid of those cravings. So that was a big thing, learning priming and working my way through the cravings until I don't crave anymore. So that
How
was a
long
huge
into
thing.
your carnivore journey and your priming journey did it take for those cravings to go away? How long did that take?
Probably about 6 to 8 weeks. So it was pretty intense. Yeah.
I found priming was really intense. I also found it super helpful. So I know you know a little bit of my story, but for anyone who's new here, that was definitely something that I wrestled with. And I did not come to carnivore because of my disordered eating. I did not. I came because I wanted to have a baby. That was the only thing that was on my brain. And it just so happened that with going carnivore, I ended up resolving very long term restricted binge eating disorder, a volume eating disorder, carb and sugar addiction. And it just sort of happened. Like I followed the program and the protocol and just to eat when I was hungry. And man, I was always hungry. Like, and I realized that that was part of my problem. Why I was so addicted to these things is because I was chronically hungry. Do you think that
Yeah.
was ever a thing for you, just being like chronically hungry when you were overweight?
I don't think I was ever hungry. It was just that comfort thing. I just had to eat. Like feeling I had like a void after I lost my mum, I lost my grandparents, and my mum and dad I lost within a few months of each other. It really impacted me, and I've been caring for people for such a long time, and then suddenly everyone was gone. My daughter, she had type 1 diabetes. She was diagnosed at the same time my mum was diagnosed with cancer. So I spent a good 7 years caring for them. And then when mum passed away, my daughter moved out because she was old enough, moved out with her friends. And then suddenly I was alone. And it's like nobody was there, nobody needed me, and it's just I had thrown my whole life into caring for them, and then once they'd left, I didn't know who Lindy was anymore, and that's just when I kind of fell into a bit of a hole, and nobody needed Lindy anymore. I didn't know who I was, and I was just trying to keep busy. I couldn't grieve for anything. I just felt empty, and so that eating was just trying to fill that hole that, my parents and everyone had left in me. So, yeah, and I still have, like, I still, the tears whenever I talk about my mum and all that, I still haven't grieved properly. I keep busy and eating and just keeping my mind distracted and busy. That's how I deal with things. So, probably not a good thing, but um, it's worked so far. So,
I can relate to you. I lost my mom at a fairly young age. My dad is still alive, but I did lose my mom at a very young age. And much
mm,
like you, my mom was really sick with cancer for several years. She was almost cancer free for 5 years when she was re-diagnosed with stage 4 metastatic breast cancer, which eventually led her to, it spread all over her body, into her bones, her lungs, her brain. She ended up having a stroke, and she was in one of the not palliative care. um I can't remember what it's called. It's the place they go before they die. It's like Usually people are there for 2 weeks. I can't remember what it's called. Anyway, hospice. There we go. That's what it's called.
Yeah.
She went into hospice, and normally most people don't stay in hospice longer than 2 weeks. She was in there for, I think, I don't know, 3 months. She was a
Yeah.
tough old bag. Just really tried to hang on as best as she could. But when she passed away, I didn't know who I was because I had
Mm.
known her to be sick for so long. And my sister was amazing and took such good care of her because she lived close by and I lived in another state or province. But I remember feeling the same way, like there was just a hole and I didn't know how to grieve. Nobody teaches you how to grieve. Nobody teaches you
No.
how to grieve. People teach you coping mechanisms. People teach you to just suck it up and you'll be fine and whatever. And it's
Mm.
like everyone grieves so differently. For me,
Yeah.
I turn to food. I turned to food and I turned to restriction and I turned to working out. Like those were my outlets for, if one wasn't working, I would go to the next, I would go to the next, and then I would cycle back through because I'm like, well, it's not working again. So I think it would be really interesting. And I would actually be very curious if my mom had heard about carnivore. I wonder if she would have tried it because she had heard that, juicing and all that stuff was like the thing to help you overcome cancer. But we have learned, from people like Dr. Thomas Seyfried that being in a state of ketosis is actually more healing. Do you agree with that?
Absolutely. Yeah. My mum didn't like meat. Yeah, she would make bacon and stuff for my dad because he liked his red meat and things like that. But my mum always avoided it, and she was having her vegetables and oats. She loved porridge. But when she had cancer, she did like a something. I can't remember what the diet was called, but it was a specific cancer diet through the Australian Cancer Foundation or whatever, a look good, feel good course, and they had all the diets. And she was every day, she was having twice a day cottage cheese with flaxseed oil, and you grind up apricot kernels, which I believe is very poisonous. It's like an arsenic or something.
Yeah, I've heard
And
about this.
yeah, and that she was having that I'd have to make it for her twice a day, and, back then, obviously, I knew nothing about carnivore or anything like that, and these are the things that she was having. I cringe now thinking of the diet that they put her on, and I don't know if she would have gone carnivore because she wasn't a meat person, because my mum, she was on a diet all the time, and she wasn't very big up the top, but I think she had lipedema as well. She was very wide in the hips and her legs, but she was very small framed up the top, and, it wasn't really I don't even think she knows, like, they even knew what lipedema was then, or she certainly didn't, but she was constantly on a diet, always on a diet. She's tried Jenny Craig and all these things, and, eating vegetables, juicing, and doing all that stuff, but just could not lose the weight, and as I mentioned, it's just all in the lower body. So, yeah, I don't know if she would have done carnivore, but, you know, I probably shouldn't say it, but I think if I ever found out I had cancer, I probably wouldn't do the treatment. I am doing right now what I would do. I would eat my carnivore meals and, um, prioritize rest and just live a healthy lifestyle. And I don't think I would turn to drugs because I saw what it did to her. So it's probably not a good thing to say, but I just
I'm
wouldn't
with
want
you.
to,
I'm with you.
don't want to do it.
Yeah, I watched my mom go through that as well. Like they prescribe warfarin, which is rat
Yeah.
poison to people. And I'm like, how is this supposed to help them? So you make their immune system lower and you suppress their immune system further so their body can't fight the infection. And then you inject them with like poisonous substances. Like, how is this helping anyone? How is it helping anyone? Honestly.
Yeah.
Oh, it
Yeah.
really irks me. And honestly, I'm in the same boat with you. If I were to receive a diagnosis as such, I am doing exactly what I would want to do. I might get a little more strict with it. Like, I mean, I can't get any more strict than Lion, I don't think. But I would be really intentional about making sure, following even Thomas Seyfried's uh protocol, where, what your ideal GKI range would be, making sure that I was, really prioritizing that and like enjoying my time just in case it doesn't work. But at that point, it's
That's
like, what do you
right.
have to lose? So
Exactly.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I wanted to ask you, you've mentioned lipedema and lymphedema. Can you describe for our viewers what the difference is?
Well, lipedema is it's like a fat disorder. I'm not exactly sure, but it's not normal fat. It's just I'm sorry, I don't really know. Do you want me
Oh,
to
that's okay.
answer for that?
That's okay.
Uh, I think it's like a connective tissue disorder. So um, you get sort of nodules in your legs, and diet does not affect it. You can restrict your calories and exercise, but you don't lose that fat. It just continues to grow. And it's normally in the lower part of your body, in your legs and buttocks and my tummy. I've now got it on my arms as well. And I think the only way they can take it out is for sort of a surgery, sort of liposuction and massaging it out that way. Um, there's a lot of pain associated with lipedema as well. Just like at nighttime, I'll be lying in bed and it's aching. You're very tender to touch. You bruise easily. It's not a very pleasant condition. Lymphedema is your lymphatic system may get clogged. You get pooling in the legs, could sometimes in the arms as well, or it just your lymphatics isn't pumping as well. So I'm doing things like rebounding. I have a vibration plate under my desk, which helps me. It helps sort of move the lymph fluid out and yeah, it just makes I think it's the only sort of system in your body that doesn't have its own pump. So you need to do the movement to make it work. So sometimes they go hand in hand, obviously with my weight and the obesity that I had. I've, you know, been cursed with both conditions, but carnivore has helped those conditions, which is they're very manageable now. So yeah.
That's wonderful. And I'm so glad that you found some helpful tools. You mentioned vibration plate and the rebounder.
Yes, yes. And
I
fasting
love,
also.
ooh, tell
Fasting
me
has
more.
always been good. Yeah, we did a 5-day fast back in January with Todd and Michael we do a 700 plus and counting stream, and we just thought we'd all do a 5-day fast together. And by the end of it, I just felt you get a really heavy feeling with the lymphedema, with all the fluid in your legs. And by the end of the 5 days, I was like floating. It's like my legs weren't heavy anymore. I'd lost quite a lot of the fluid. It was just amazing. I felt so good on it. Haven't been able to fast again after that, but I'm not a very good faster, but it did really help that 5-day fast. So,
I'm
mm.
so grateful that we have all of these tools available to us. And I was just sharing this earlier with someone about how carnivore in itself is a fasting, mimicking way of eating. Um, but there are benefits to fasting, like straight fasting, just water fasting or even dry fasting. Have you ever experimented with dry fasting, or was it just the 5-day fast?
Well, I don't drink a lot, so I wouldn't be surprised if it's not obviously a proper dry fast, but I have a bottle, like just a soda stream bottle. It takes me 3 days to drink that. I just take a little sip and it's done. Um, sometimes 4 days. I just don't drink a lot. So probably, I don't know, yeah, I don't drink a lot. So it's not an official dry fast, but I don't drink 8 glasses of water or whatever you're supposed to, to drink
No,
daily.
the
It just might
recommendation,
be.
I don't think the water recommendations are actually what they should be. Everyone's size and shape is so different. Everyone's activity level is so different. So,
Yeah.
I hear all these people saying, "Oh, I drink, 132 ounces of water a day." I'm like, "What? Like, why are you drinking so much water?" Have you ever
Mm.
heard of the people who, and I used to do this, I'm guilty of this, who instead of eating, they would drink water and they ended up like waterlogging their brains? Have you ever heard of that?
I haven't, but yeah, I do hear a lot of people drinking a lot of water. I can't physically do it. Yeah. I don't drink anything. Like sometimes I do have a coffee if I go out. That's sort of my little treat thing. And I know it's not very carnivore, but if I do go out, that's my treat, my go-to. But other than that, yeah, I like the soda stream or just plain water. And it's just a little bit. Yeah. I don't know how people drink. Like even this guy that we watch on YouTube, he's on this weight loss journey. He literally gets one of those 1 liter bottles and he sculls the whole thing. And I'm like, how does he do that without choking? I think I would drown. Yeah.
Oh
I just
gosh.
don't feel thirsty at all. So, yeah, good luck to those that can drink it and want to drink it. But yeah, I'm just not interested.
Oh, that is so interesting. Wow. And I'm I'm just kind of like a little bit surprised actually. I probably drink 2 liters a day. I mean, I'm also breastfeeding, which dehydrates you because
Yeah.
a lot of your milk supply obviously is made up of water. So I definitely drink my share. And I just go off the color of my urine to kind of know if I need more or less. But wow, yeah, it's just so interesting to me all the different ways that people's bodies respond to certain stimulus. And I mean, if you can get away with a cup of coffee and a sip of water, I don't know. That's kind of cool.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't need it, I don't want it, but yeah, I used to get a lot of headaches, and I think maybe it was 'cause I wasn't drinking, but I'm not drinking still, and the headaches are gone, so I'm thinking more diet now, so
Yeah.
something I'm not eating now.
Yeah. Oh,
Yeah.
that's amazing. I'm curious, Lindy, what are your current goals with carnivore? Do you plan to stay carnivore? Have you veered off of carnivore at all?
Well, since Texas, I have been a little bit off track. I think it did throw me a little bit, just the change of life and coming back home and back to reality. I kind of got a little bit depressed, and it was my birthday as well, and a few things kind of slipped in, and so I haven't been as optimal as I normally have. But I'm back on track now. And that's just reminded me that those addictions are still there. I can't afford to let myself spiral and get back to how I was. So, yeah, I need to buckle down. Carnivore is for life. This isn't a diet for me. This is my lifestyle. Um, I don't think I'll ever be cured of the addiction. I thought I was. I was able to, occasionally have something and be strong, but this latest last month, yeah, no, it doesn't work. So I'm back on track now and going to continue carnivore. I'm even leaning more towards line. I just feel so much better on line. I don't like pork or it makes me feel ill. I'm not into chicken. I do like a little bit of salmon here and there, but yeah, mainly just salt and beef is my go-to. Occasionally, I have some eggs. I do like an egg coulada, and that's been really good if I'm a little bit peckish at night, but I don't want a full meal because with a lap band, I can't eat a lot at night. Then a colada might be my go-to because it's very light and it just fills the tummy, and I sleep like a baby after that because I guess it's, it's just butter, tallow and egg yolks, water and bit of salt and blitz it all up, and if I have it hot. So it's just a nice warm drink and it just, yeah, makes me sleep like a baby. So definitely a nice night cap if you like. Um,
I
but
like that.
yeah, just keep it really simple. I don't do a lot of any of the recipes that I see online. It's just too difficult. just meat, steak in the air fryer, take it out of the freezer, frozen in the air fryer, cook it and done. It's like food is no longer my focus. I just eat it quickly and then get on with my life. So I spent enough of my life thinking about food and craving food, and I just don't want to know about it anymore.
Wow. Okay, so that is really interesting to me because, as you know, I like to create recipes. Food is still apparently a very big focus of mine, and you just saying that kind of is a little bit convicting to me because I'm like, oh, there is still a part of me that kind of almost obsesses over it. But I think it's because I want people to see that there is variety with carnivore. So people think, oh, carnivore is so restrictive. And I'm like, do you know what it's like to be housebound? Do you know what it's like to live with an eating disorder? Do you know what it's like to live with chronic crippling pain? Do you know what it's like to have that diagnosis? You'll never get pregnant. Like, and unless you know what it's like to have those experiences, I think that people kind of get caught up in the, oh, well, I can only ever have beef and salt and water. And it's like, yeah, but if that means the difference between you getting out of your house, not waking up in pain, having a baby, whatever the thing is, I mean, to me, it's not restrictive at all. Would you agree with that?
Absolutely. Restrictive as being 800 pounds, having no mobility, not fitting behind the steering wheel of a car, or just go walk into the letterbox and back just to collect the mail, things like that. That is restrictive. So, carnivore eating meat is easy to me. This is the easiest thing I've done. It's the emotional side of it. That's the hard part. And I guess, people have to work out why they're doing carnivore. I'm doing it for my health. I'm doing it to be here for my girls and to get my life back, which I'm doing. And I'm going to get there. I'm going to reach, well, I don't know, I don't have a goal weight, but I just want to be able to go out with the family, not be left behind, not have to stop every 5 minutes and just hold up the family. I want to get out there and enjoy myself. So I have a really big why. And other people that struggle, I mean, what's your why? Why are you doing it? Do you need to do carnivore? Is that you doing it for a reason? If you have a strong enough why, you will commit. The restriction is not a big deal, and there is a lot of recipes you can make, I guess, if you want to. But why is food such a big focus in your life? It should be living your life, experiencing life, being with your family, go out with your friends, but don't make it all about the food. Go and watch a movie, go and play in a park, go for a walk on the beach with your friends and connect and enjoy that time with each other. Why does everything have to revolve around food?
Mm.
So I'm just looking at life a lot differently now. Food should be I've spent so many years focused on food and being from an Italian background as well. Like we love to celebrate. Everything was around food, and I think that's been a big part of my culture. I don't want that anymore. I just want to live life now. So
I really love
yeah.
that you touched on all of those points, like all the ways to kind of have your needs met and to get filled. And I think that that's why most people center around food, A, because it's constantly accessible 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. B, because it doesn't judge you. C, because it can either numb you or placate you or suppress whatever you're not dealing with inside of here. And I mean, I can say, as someone who has recovered from their disordered eating, that I still have kind of memories and flashbacks to those moments, to those times where instead of turning to my loved one and being like, "Hey, I really need a hug. Like I'm working through whatever and I just really need a hug," or phoning my sister and being like, "I just wanted to tell you that I miss you," instead of expressing those things, I would just stuff those things away because it was
Yeah.
more comfortable to be physically uncomfortable because of food than it was to deal with the emotional discomfort. And I'm sure a lot of people can relate to that. I don't know if you relate to that at all, but it was so much easier. So much easier.
Yeah. Yeah. And people are too busy these days. I was home alone. I couldn't do anything. I'd ring my sister and, I haven't grieved my mum, and I'd sort of mentioned something to her, and she's like, "Oh, you need a counsellor." And I'm like, "No, I just want to talk to my sister." She's not the type of person that would pick up the phone. All my friends, they're all busy. I had one girlfriend who would say, "Oh, I'll come over," and then she wouldn't turn up because something else happened. And I just felt like, food never disappointed me. It was always there. I'd eat it, it would be comfortable. Friends, family, they all let you down. And, I don't like rejection. And I felt like I was being rejected a lot. Um, People didn't have time or make time to come and see me. And I was craving things, but the attention, and just after losing my mum, like, I had my mum and grandmother in my life. Yeah, we were just always together, and then suddenly nothing. And then even at home, my husband's at work and my girls, go to work and they're at school. And I was just at home alone all the time. And even with a family, and even today, sometimes I just feel so alone, even though I've got a family around me, because everyone's busy. So, yeah, it's very hard, the emotional sort of journey, and finding my feet with it all. But I cope a lot better being carnivore now, than I did before. Like, I was always very deep in doom and gloom and things like that, and now it's just like, "Oh, no, well, they're busy. I can be busy too now. I've got a car now, I can fit behind the wheel, I can jump in the car, I can go for a drive, go and sit in a park, or just get out of the house or do whatever I like." So my mobility is a lot better now, just having my life back. But yeah, I just can't afford to go back to how I was. And I know it is very easy because those traits are still there. Like, it hasn't fixed me completely, but I can move forward now and manage my life. And I know how to fix things. If I fall off the wagon, I know what I need to do to get back on track. I've got so many tools, thanks to SPG Gang, um, to help me get back on track. And just being in the community as well, that really helps me. If I'm not in the community, like all the noises, the outside people telling me, just one's not going to hurt you, you got to live a little bit, and all they take over. That's why you need to have community, especially if you don't have support around you. My husband is dirty carnivore. He is carnivore at home with me, but if we go out, he's always eating what he likes, and he eats what he likes at work as well, which is fine, not a problem. My girls are not carnivore, so I don't have any carnivores in my all my carnivore friends are online, and most of them are in the US, so it makes it very difficult. So, community, I think, has been a big part of my success. If it wasn't for the community, I probably wouldn't be here today.
Wow. And I mean, the power is in the testimony because here you are sitting here having this conversation with me, and I would agree with you wholeheartedly. Community is everything. I know when I started carnivore, I kind of felt like alone, and I kind of felt
Mm,
like an outcast because you're doing this thing that's very restrictive and very different than anybody else is doing. And it's like, yeah, but I have a goal. I had a why that made me cry. And I just knew that if I didn't try it, I would regret not trying it. I'm like, what do I have to lose
yeah.
at this point? And it was about a month into my carnivore journey that I found Bella, and I was like, oh my gosh, I need to join her community. And I told my husband, I said, even if I just joined for a month, like I would feel so much better knowing that I'm a part of something with other people that get me, and I can ask my questions and I can learn so much. And then
Yes.
after a month, that's fine, whatever. And then obviously now I'm a part of the team, which is amazing. But it's like that is one of the key pieces, I think, to success. I hear so many stories of people, oh, I tried carnivore and I lasted 2 weeks, or I lasted a month, or whatever, and then I fell off, or however long they were on for, and then they fell off. And I'm like, well, did you join a community? Well, no, I was trying to do it by myself. And it's like, that's amazing. There are, a very small percentage of people who are able to do those things and to do them well and to thrive at them and to be alone, be a lone wolf doing it. But we are so much stronger in a community, so much stronger in a community.
Yeah. And I've always been one to do things on my own. I've never liked being in a group or a community because then I'm, center stage and I'm always the one that sits in the back seat, hides and tries to blend in with it all. So, um, sitting SBG gang, I had my camera off for the first, I think, over a year. I just could not show my face because I was so embarrassed. And nobody called on me. I just sat there in the background, just watching and learning and listening to all the beautiful testimonials and stories of people healing and grandmothers who were throwing away their walking frames and sitting on the floor with their grandchildren and playing. And I'm like, it's not just about losing weight, there's people healing conditions and feeling better. Depression is gone, and so many things. And just hearing all these testimonials, it just reminded me of my why and why I'm doing this, and not only to lose weight, but even now at 800 pounds, losing weight was the cherry on top for me. It's all the other healing benefits, I would be the last person who has a YouTube channel and, talking to people. I flew to Texas and met, you and Bella and everybody else. That's not Lindy. Lindy's the shy one, so I do have a lot of confidence. I struggle still, but I'm pushing myself. I'm challenging myself, which I would never do before. I was always very comfortable, but now I'm actually, extending myself and putting myself in places and, situations that I haven't done so before. So, um, the carnival courage, carnival confidence is coming out.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is. And you
Yeah.
do have a fabulous YouTube channel, so feel free, shamelessly plug away.
Oh, Limitless Lindy. So you can find me there and on Instagram as well. So I do a show with Michael, the Carnival Cure, and Todd, Carnival Cure. And just they're both were 700 pounds and they're both on their journeys as well. So the three of us do a weekly show and just talk about, life at 700 plus and what we're doing to lose weight and optimize our health. So
I
yeah,
love it. And I have one final question for you before we close, Miss Lindy. If someone were considering a carnivore lifestyle, what would you say to them?
keep it simple. Join a community. Some people can do it without, but I think it's a really great place to start. I've been in a few communities. SBG's been my favorite by far. Um, they cater for anyone and everyone, whether you're a fitness junkie or just someone in my position. There's always somebody in the group that can help. And yeah, just don't wait till next month or next week. Start today. You can do it.
Awesome. I love that. And thank you so much for taking time out of your day at the start of your day to join me on my channel today, Lindy. It's been such a pleasure talking to you, and your story and your testimony is going to reach so many people. And I can't wait. I can't wait to share this episode. So thank you so much from my whole heart for being here.
Thank you for having me.
You're welcome. Thank you guys all so much for tuning into this episode. I hope that you got something out of hearing Limitless Lindy's story. She is absolutely incredible. I'm just so blown away by her story and her testimony. And I will link all of her contact information in the description box below. If you haven't done so already, I would love it if you would like and subscribe and leave me a comment on this video. It helps with the algorithms. You can click the little notification bell to be notified each time I upload a new episode. Otherwise, this is Rochelle, the Real Life Carnivore, signing out. Bye for now.